Welcome to my dad's car. Enjoy!
Welcome to My Dad's Car, a podcast discussing our personal relationship with automotive nostalgia. And you know what? It doesn't even have to be about your dad's car. It can be your mum's, your grand's, your parents', guardians, or even a neighbour's. If it made an impression, let's talk about it.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Robbie. Yeah, we've got you.
Indeed.
Can you see me? Yay, we're here.
Excellent. That's a great jumper.
Thank you very much. My mum knitted it.
I was going to say, it looks like a homemade jobby.
It is.
Lovely.
Yeah. It gets a lot of praise, this, so it's good.
I'm not surprised. I'm John, Robbie, and that is Andy.
Hi, John. Hi, Andy.
For the benefit of the tape, we're joined by Robbie Knox, who I first came not into contact with, but first saw on Soccer AM, which football fans would obviously know. Andy, have you ever heard of Soccer AM?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever watched it. Apologies, Robbie.
That's absolutely fine.
So Andy was involved with football a bit, weren't you? When would you say you sort of deactivated on football, Andy? Late 90s?
Yeah, mid to late 90s. So I had a friend who used to support Fulham. We used to travel up in the back of a Renault Laguna.
Nice.
Like 7 or 8 of us in a car, and we'd go up to Craven Cottage and sort of hang around. We'd go and get signatures from Jimmy Hill and the like.
Oh.
And then I completed Premier League 94, which I found in my loft the other day. I sent that to John.
Sticker album, yeah.
But since then, I have got a signed picture somewhere of Ryan Giggs and Dennis Irwin from a match poster that I sent to Alex Ferguson, and he signed it. And they signed it and sent it back to me.
Nice.
Very nice, yeah.
But that's where football ends, really, for me.
That's fair enough, yeah.
So that's where I first saw Robbie, and obviously nowadays you are an influencer.
For want of a better word.
Is it fair to say, Robbie? You influence people?
I can't imagine anyone's actually positively or negatively influenced by anything I do. But I make videos and stuff and podcasts and stuff on the interweb.
Yeah, so you're involved with, there's a new Soccer A to Z podcast as well, isn't
Yep.
there, which is really great, actually. And what's the other one you're involved with?
It's Jack Mate's Happy Hour.
That's the one. Yeah,
That's for young people. That's most. It's sort of people in their 20s generally listen to that. But that's quite popular. We've done a couple of UK tours for that sort of thing. So yeah, it's
cool.
Keeps me off the streets.
Nice. Well, kick off then, Robbie. So what is your earliest car memory?
So I don't know anything about cars. I will preface with this. We had a blue car. It was a Citroen, and it was quite distinctive. It was a long blue car. This would have been around the early 80s,
right? But
you see it a bit, and it's quite distinctive looking. You might be able to tell me what this.
It sounds a bit like a BX to me, Andy. Do you reckon?
Possible, or CX maybe, the one which kind of came before it.
Yeah,
but yeah, they sort of sat quite low.
Yeah,
sort of almost like a slug.
Yeah, it's sluggy. Yeah, we're in that sort of realms of things. I remember being told that the car was fancy because apparently if one tyre burst, you could keep going for a bit or something like that.
Oh, right.
Don't know if that was true. Don't know if that was marketing nonsense or what.
Oh, that's the hydroelastic or whatever it's called suspension. Basically, the suspension uses hydraulics to a certain extent, and you can lift a wheel up, I think.
Okay.
So you can drive those on 3 wheels.
Right. So that's the first car I remember us having, but I remember driving around in my neighbour's Arthie's, her parents' car, and we just get put in the boot because that was an acceptable thing to do at the time. And sometimes you'd be stood up like out the sunroof, like just sort of chatting away as a child,
Mr. Bean style.
Yeah, and it was a completely acceptable thing to do at the time. Whereas now, if I drove past and saw a child in the boot, I'd be on 999 immediately, get them taken into care.
Yeah.
So yeah, but at the time it was completely acceptable.
So if we go back to that Citroen, Robbie, what sort of journeys would you be doing in that? Have you got siblings or anything like that?
I've got one brother. Yep. We'd go to Scotland would be the biggest journeys. I think my family are all from Scotland, so we'd be driving up there quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So we generally get picked up as in literally carried out of bed in pajamas at approximately 3 a.m. and put in the back of the car. And then maybe go back to sleep and wake up around Birmingham. Right. We grew up in Kent.
Okay.
So, yeah, and quite often we'd get up so early that you'd be in Glasgow by about 9 a.m. or something like that. So we'd always do that sort of thing. And that's the kind of driving I like doing now. I don't mind driving, but I don't like driving in traffic, and I don't like it when people are being inconsiderate of that. So the less people around, I'd rather drive for 5 hours at 4 a.m. onwards, sort of thing like that, than 1 hour in rush hour.
I agree. Yeah. We make a sort of annual family trip to the West Country from Southeast London. And I think we made that mistake once of not going in the small hours and coming home late as well, because it is just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Like it's so disheartening when you've been in the car for 2 hours and I've got to like Clackett Lane or something like that. You sort of think, I want to go home.
Yeah. And if we're going I live in Norwich. I live in Norwich now, and if you're going anywhere up north, the way sat-nav will always try and take you is along past Kings Lynn, and a lot of it's like a single carriageway road. And I find that if that's sort of rush hour, not rush, any vaguely busy time, I find that quite annoying because you can just get stuck behind something particularly slow, or the other thing you're going to get people who are really aggressive trying to overtake everyone on dangerous bends and stuff like that. So yeah, I try, if I'm going anywhere other than a motorway, I'll try and avoid any busy times.
I feel like the kids are against me as well when I'm doing those journeys. Like they'll demand to go to the toilet sort of, in the first hour or something, which is a killer, isn't it?
Yeah, that's bad. And I also find I'll agree with my wife. And this is just basically just getting loads of domestic tension out here. I'll agree with my wife. So we'll go at 8, and I'll say, but I'll be like, if we leave by 8, I will do all or almost all of the driving. If we are after 8, then we are sharing it 50-50 exactly. Something, because there has to be an incentive in every right, okay. Because quite often, even if it's like 15:15, if we then get in traffic, I'm like going, well, if we were 15 minutes earlier, we probably would have been all right. So there's a lot of tension around driving. Just
while we're on the sort of subject of venting, my wife likes to do a big clean before we go away.
What, in the house? Sort of literally before we're getting in the car. I'll see her in the kitchen.
House or car?
Yeah, not the car, unfortunately. No, it doesn't touch the car, Robbie.
Right.
Just the kitchen. But she'll start sort of cleaning down the sides and like a deep clean of the kitchen. I'm sort of looking at the watch thinking, let's crack on, Yeah.
Like, I don't mind, like, it's important to make sure that you're not going to come back to fruit fly.
Yeah, of course.
You need to make sure that anything like, I appreciate that. Something I've got a new coffee machine at Christmas. Like, it was my dream to have. I drink a lot of coffee. I was making cafetières, but I thought I want a thing where I put beans in the top,
beans a cup,
and coffee comes out the bottom, and everything in the middle.
Just magic.
Or minimal influence over, sort of thing. And I've got that.
Right.
But what I didn't realise was the coffee grounds got mouldy while I was away in the thing.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't emptied that. Didn't realise that would happen.
Yeah. You have to descale those as well, don't you? It's a bit of an operation.
Well, yeah, there's a thing. We have quite hard water in Norwich. Is this interesting? I don't know. I'll tell you anyway. I
think you'll find we've got the hardest water in the southeast, actually.
Well, okay. Well, I'm happy to do a bit of research while you're talking in a minute, and we'll just double check. But there is a water softening thing that comes in it.
Okay.
Every month you have to move around slightly.
That's good.
So I'll have a look. Yeah.
Right. So I digressed massively there, didn't we?
You take us back to the.
You carry on. I'm just going to quickly Google hardest water in the UK and find out what area.
Please don't. I can show you. I can show you a picture of my kettle if you want.
You know what? It's actually a draw.
It
says the south and east of England have the hardest water in the UK.
Joint champions.
So that's both of us covered, really.
We'll have to have a replay and do a reassessment in a year's time or something.
Yeah. Although I will say here, it's a lot of these are hard to very hard water, but Greater London does just say moderately hard water. So,
all right. That's a bit embarrassing for me now, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, you're cuck water. Anyway, sorry, I'm sure this wasn't about water.
If we go back to the Citroen, then would your parents have music on in the car? What were they listening to?
Yeah, a lot of Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, very nice.
I think my mum is born on the exact same day and year as Bruce Springsteen
in the USA.
She was born in Dumbarton.
Oh, it doesn't quite roll off the tongue, does it?
Not quite the same as New Jersey, but it was that album. It would have been Born in the USA that we listened to a lot of the time.
Was she the boss when it came to the music, or?
I think so. I don't really remember the process. I didn't really have any input being a child, not really knowing anything other than the stuff that's put in the car. But yeah, that was the main thing. What are the tapes? Eventually, as I got a bit older, I remember getting. Now that's what I call Music 7, maybe, and that sort of stuff on this sort of thing. And Michael Jackson's Bad, as well. Yeah.
So the Citroen, was that around for a long time, Robbie, or was it replaced at some point? Do you remember?
It's the first thing I really remember, and then it was replaced by a black Renault. Again, I know you'd probably want more than just a colour and a make of a car, but that's literally all I know.
No, it's fine.
And that survived for quite a long time until it got stolen in Glasgow, which I remember being very excited when we were young. Do people still steal cars much?
Yeah.
Do cars still get stolen a lot?
It's very popular where I am.
It's high end though, isn't it? It's like Land Rovers and stuff.
Is it?
Yeah. Range Rovers and things. Yeah, it's very easy as well. It seems like a very easy thing to do now.
Yeah, it seems now people they don't even need the keys. They just go.
You've got a laptop.
You've got to keep your keys in some Faraday cage or something like that.
That's it. Yeah. You have to bury it in like a sort of time capsule type thing, don't you? I think for it to be safe.
Yeah, I don't think my current car, anyone's gonna I don't even need to lock it really. I don't think anyone's gonna steal it or want to take it away. But yeah, certainly at the time that was quite a big thing. Stealing, joyriding.
Was it recovered? Did they find it again?
I don't know. I don't think we certainly didn't get it back. I think it was a company car.
I'm presuming you were up there on a holiday if you were up in Glasgow. So
we were up at our grandparents, and they lived in the 9th floor of a big block of flats. And it came down in the morning, it was gone. So yeah, I can't remember what happened. It might have been joyridden. I'm not sure. Joyriding was quite a big thing at the time. I don't know whether people steal cars to joyride these days. But
how did you get home? Do you remember?
I don't really remember. I don't know. I don't know if we hired a car or got the train or something. I don't know. Just no real recollection.
Maybe your parents just sort of carried you when you were asleep and just woke up in.
Yeah, we were just getting. We were very passive at that age. We just got taken places or put places. There was very little input. So I can't really remember what happened. I just remember looking off the balcony of the flats and it wasn't there anymore, and that being quite a big news at the time. But I can't remember what happened afterwards.
Do you remember who was buying the cars? Was it your father? Where was he getting them from?
So my father, yeah. So it was a company car. He was an accountant.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, they were coming from the company. So I don't think there was any direct financial loss to the car being stolen to us.
Right. Okay.
But it was more of a sort of an annoyance when you're in Scotland and your car's gone.
Yeah. Seemed to show a preference for a French vehicle as well, by the looks of things, with a Citroen and a Renault.
Yeah, I don't remember what was post Renault, to be honest. But I think the Renault might have been replaced with a different colour Renault, but it was all a bit of a blur. And my mum didn't drive at the time, and then when she started driving, it was more sort of hatchbacks, and she had a Nissan Micra. See, I know the model of that one for you. There you go. She had a Nissan Micra, and then eventually after that, she upgraded to a Renault Clio, and then another Renault Clio, which then became my Renault Clio, which was my first car after that.
Yeah. Was your father one for cleaning the car on a Sunday? Was that sort of his bag, or not really?
I don't really remember. He was an alcoholic, so I don't really know. A lot of it was just drinking, really, focused on that, really. So, which did also involve him getting banned from driving at some point. So there was a completely car-free period of time in there. So I don't remember any car cleaning particularly. Actually, that's not true. No, we would occasionally help to wash it, like the outside of it. And it was generally clean inside. So yeah, I'm sure there was car cleaning going on. But certainly more than I do now, which is just occasionally when there's too much food debris, I take it to a disused site where some
reputable car cleaning service. Yeah.
Well, I say reputable. The last place I took it to smashed the windscreen.
Oh no!
But not deliberately. It wasn't like just violence. Like
that'll do it.
Windscreens now are like automatic. Like they'll sort of be sensing stuff. It was raining, and I drove in before I even turned off the engine after stopping. The guy tried to pull up the thing, and then the windscreen moved, and the thing just went down and just smashed the windscreen, just put a crack on it.
Oh no!
And I was like, and he was some Eastern European guy, and I was like, that's annoying, but I'm just going to ignore it because he looked really sad, and I didn't want to get him in trouble. I thought I'll just sort this out myself. So I'm not going to go there anymore. So I need to find a new car washing place. Or do it myself.
Yeah, they can be expensive at windscreens.
Yeah, I think it was like £100 or something like that. But I thought, oh god, he seems nice. I don't want to cause a scene. So I just moved on, just ignored it. And we just looked at each other.
His lucky day.
Yeah, it was a bit. Yeah, on a different day, might have got a different reaction, but I was quite calm that day.
Do you remember unusual vehicles, perhaps in your neighbourhood, or kind of walking to school and seeing particular vehicles?
I'm trying to think. No, I don't think I really knew what was unusual growing up. Not necessarily. I mean, at the end of our road, there was a marshland, a big marshland and fields and stuff like that. And the only unusual vehicles there was circuses would come there quite a lot, and you would see like clown cars parked up. But I think they were regular use. They also had animals at the time, because it was a time when you had animals in circuses.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, you just see when those circuses arrived, you'd see all the vehicles with just like lions and stuff, and there'd just be like lions around on the marshes and stuff. Again, that's a bit weird.
Someone taking an elephant for a walk.
Yeah.
But no, I can't remember anything specific then. I remember recently I was out for a run near me, and I ran past a house out in the countryside, and they had a full-on Ghostbusters car
Blimey.
that I've since seen around Norwich.
Wow.
So that was quite cool, but that was more recently than back in the day.
Just going back to circuses, you notice the poster, it's always the same.
Yeah.
It's like it's done on the same sort of branding, doesn't it? Every time.
Yeah, so either it works really well,
Yeah.
or there's not much innovation in the circus.
Or there's just one circus going around, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like when you hear these adverts for like NordVPN, they've obviously got something that works for them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the same with circuses, but they go like, do you know what? They've tried Helvetica. No one's interested in that. If you use this swirly font and all that, then
If it ain't broke, yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I went to Butlins with my kids last year. We went to the circus that was there. My kids loved it.
Which Butlins was that? Just out of interest.
Skegness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember us driving up to Skegness as a kid to that Butlins there.
Yeah, the only reason I asked, I used to live in Bognor Regis, which is where the other one is.
Yeah.
I don't know what their flagship Butlins is. Might be Skegness, actually.
I've done the Holy Trinity. There's one at Minehead as well. I've done the 3.
Yeah,
Oh, have you? Keep the match ball.
yeah, I did the old, I think no longer there, is it Fweli or something like that? PHWE, the one in Wales.
Oh, okay.
Did that one, and there was one up in Ayr in Scotland that I never stayed at, but we did go on a day trip to the swimming pool there on a trip up to Scotland, presumably when we had a non-stolen car.
Yeah. You needed a Veruca, and that was the closest place.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Not a cheap one, Butlins. People sort of think, oh, it's, you're going to get some value there, but it's really expensive, isn't it?
Well, do you know what? I went there, and it's not. If you go in February,
Yeah.
In Skegness,
Yeah.
for our entire family, for like I think it was probably there for like 3 or 4 nights. I think we were, and we paid £700 for 5 of us, but that included all your food.
Right, okay.
That was like you could go into a restaurant each night,
Yeah.
and you got a glass of wine and stuff like that. I think it was like 300 something like that. So if you go in February, it's not too bad.
Out of season, yeah.
But I imagine the summer it's.
Yeah, school holidays.
Yeah, it's nowhere like it's not like Center Parcs money,
No,
which is insane.
that's crazy. Yeah, the wife likes Center Parcs, and I don't really get it. It's just not for me. I sort of think you can't drive up to where you're staying. You have to carry your bags, and then
Yeah, you paid a lot of money to be in some woods.
yeah,
It's like Butlins with trees, isn't it?
it is really slightly nicer log cabin,
Yeah.
slightly less riffraff, I suppose.
Yeah, and then if you look at the Center Parcs in Europe, if you ever looked into that, they're like about a third of the price for the same thing. I mean, I've been to Center Parcs once, but that was before the kids, I think, were at school. We're not financially able to pay holiday Center Parcs money, and nor would we want to.
Center Parcs might like that slogan. We're like Butlins with trees.
Butlins with trees, yeah. or maybe, I think it's probably better to do it the other way around. Butlins could say treeless Center Parcs. Or they could just plant some trees and then they're suddenly going to be in the money.
Yeah, exactly.
What about more deer than Butlins? Little bit of a play on woodland creatures and
Nice.
Yeah,
Clever.
very clever, yeah. That'll work for radio ads, but then if it's in print, you've got to choose which
You've had
version
it.
of deer you are, and one of them doesn't.
yeah.
Maybe speak to the circus printers. They might have some ideas on how to
Yeah. I think basically what we need to do is come together with
sort of collab.
have to work out a marketing agency for circuses and holiday camps. We'll market anything that had its heyday in 1991. So, like anything on the way down. Yeah.
Come dressed as a clown and get 10% off your first 2 nights or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good.
Center Parcs with lions.
Yeah.
They just let them off. They just run round.
Yeah. That'd be good.
We had to leave after 2 nights because our son got eaten. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy in the 2CV that the doors fell off was trying to chase him and get him back, but he just kept tripping up. We're like, come on, get him.
Music playing in the background. Yeah, good.
We all got covered in water.
You mentioned your father liked to drink, Robbie.
Yeah.
Was there any smoking that went with it in the car specifically?
Did he smoke a pipe? My grandpa smoked a pipe. I'm trying to remember if I think he might have smoked a pipe for a bit. Certainly not in the car. I remember going occasionally in someone else's car when they would smoke, being like, I'm not too keen on this. But no, I don't think there was that. But it was quite common now. If I see someone smoking in a car now, I am shocked.
Bad. Yeah.
Like, that must be, with the windows up, that must be the least pleasant thing in the world. Even if you smoke, I can't imagine it's nice to be in a car off some more smoke.
Even when you encounter it outside now. In fact, I think yesterday morning, I was walking the kids to school and a mum came by and she had a cigarette on the go.
Yeah.
And you just anticipate you're going to walk into like the backdraft of it, don't you? And it's really not very nice, even outside.
Yeah, I was in France last week, and we just sat outside, but someone at the table next to us was smoking. Even though you're outside, it's like, oh my God, this is horrendous.
They love it, don't they?
Yeah, they do love it. Yeah, but no, I remember it happening, but I don't ever remember being subjected to regular smoke in the car ourselves. Yeah,
it seems the pipe was very much sort of after grandfathers. Like, we're sort of similar ages, aren't we?
Yeah.
Once the grandfathers went on, the pipe seemed to go with them, didn't it? It didn't go on to the next generation. It seemed, it just finished up.
If it wasn't for the whole getting cancer thing, I would bring back the pipe. Like, I like the look of a pipe. I think it'd be quite. I think if you were out and you were smoking a pipe, you'd be like, begrudging respect there, sort of thing.
It's interesting if there's a market for it in the e-cigarette range, like an e-pipe.
Yeah,
quite trendy.
I mean, crack users have continued using the pipe.
True.
But beyond that, there's very few, and they're not that influential, I don't think, in the wider scheme of things. But yeah, I think the reason I wanted the bean to, we'll bring it round now, the reason I wanted the bean to coffee machine is because I like the sort of variety of flavours that you can get with the beans, and you buy different bags and all that. And I think you get that in pipes as much. I know you can get in your vapes, you can get your sort of bubblegum things like that. But I like the sort of, I'm going to put in my pipe. I've got my pipe, and I'm going to put in this flavour of tobacco now. Connoisseur's choice.
Yeah.
I used to love the smell of the matches as well. My grandpa would light his pipe. Oh, that's great, yeah.
A birthday candle match.
The cigar still seems to be an acceptable sort of gentleman's pastime, which I'm not quite sure kind of how that sort of skirts and gets around it.
I think it's sort of primarily used by knobheads now, the cigar. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. Do you know what I mean? It's like sort of. It's your idiots a lot of the time that will go, I have a cigar. I mean, with a few exceptions. Whereas I think they're not going to be seen with the pipe.
No.
If someone brought back a pipe now, I'd be like, yeah, that is class. I kind of feel I could go down Dalston in London and I could see a man with a pipe and be like, yeah, that fits in well.
Oh, yeah. The cigar's very much as couples with an event, doesn't it, really? Of like, I've made it today, or I'm...
Yeah, it feels a bit... Yeah, look at me. See, I told you I'd make something of myself, Dad. Something like that. Now I've got a cigar. It feels a bit like that. Like
almost playing to like a 1920s ideology or something like that. Sort of the poster of the successful oil tycoon, big Uncle Sam's cigar.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of insecurity behind the buying of the cigar there. I think it's a bit like, see, I've got a cigar. I told you all.
They cost a fortune as well, don't they? I mean,
I don't know.
All tobacco costs a lot, but I think if you could buy like a single cigar, you could go into a shop and it could be £100 or something for a good one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe it's,
Might be something for your channel, Robbie, maybe.
Yeah, I tried the world's most expensive cigar. It's the kind of thing I would do, but the cigar thing. Yeah.
Blind taste test. We've got a really cheap one and a really expensive. Can you tell the difference?
Yeah. Like I've never smoked a cigarette. Actually, I smoked one cigarette for a sketch we were doing on Soccer AM. But I think I might have tasted a cigar at uni or something after a ball or something like that. Never tasted is the word sort of thing. Are you not supposed to inhale the cigar?
No, it's very nasty if you do that.
All right.
I remember when we were students, we're kind of into skateboarding videos and stuff. We'd seen this skateboarding video where people decided to dress up in suits and go skateboarding. We thought that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
So we kind of got a bit drunk and went skateboarding in suits and had some cigars. And if you inhale one of those, you do start coughing.
Were you at uni?
No, I was at college, I think.
Oh, right.
I remember getting back kind of in the small hours, waking my mum up. I was kind of half drunk and just told her that I'd fallen over and ripped the suit trouser.
You see, I like everything about skateboard. I like the music, I like the clothes, I like all the culture on that, apart from the skateboarding. Like, I think if I like the skateboard, I'd have been fully invested in that. But I'll just quite often I'll get the clothes and stuff like that even now. And I listen to a bit of Sum 41. I'm just.
I'm by no means any good. I can go along and turn corners, etc. But yeah, don't put me near a ramp. I'll fall over.
Right, okay, yeah. No, I can't do it. I can't stand on it stationary. Never mind the rest.
One of those things that looks a lot harder than it is, isn't it? I think skateboarding in general.
Yeah, I think it looks quite hard.
Do you?
So if it's harder than it is, I think it's.
I think ice skating as well is in the same bracket. Have you ever tried ice skating?
Yeah.
Not possible.
I've done it a little bit, and it was horrific.
Yeah.
Like I remember being told as a kid to watch out for your fingers because they can get cut off.
No thanks.
And after that, I'm like, oh no, I can't do it. I'm quite into skiing, but I've never got the technique. And the amount of time between being vertical and being smashed into the ground at a high speed is so quick. You've got no time to adjust. You're just like, I think I'm getting it. Something. It's horrific.
I've only done dry slope skiing, and I'm kind of put up by sort of high-profile accidents.
Yeah.
Like Michael Schumacher, for example, sort of.
Yeah, I think there've been a couple of like big high impact lads. You do get more injuries per minute of the activity playing football than you do skiing, if that's any help, apparently.
Interesting.
But then again, you play football for like 90 minutes at a time, you'll ski for a day or so. But I mean, I've not had any serious injuries skiing since I was a kid. I cut my head once, actually, but I don't think it's if you're sensible and you get lessons and stuff like that, I think it's not too bad most of the time.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question, Rob. We've never asked it before, but seeing as you're not a massive car nut,
Yep.
say, for example, we've got a long journey ahead of us.
Yeah.
So you can take 3 people in the car with you, dead or alive.
Okay. Yeah.
Who would you take?
So I think the problem.
And who would drive?
Yeah. Okay. I think the issue that a lot of people have is with these things. It's the same thing with like a dinner party.
Yeah.
Like, so who's your dream dinner party sort of thing? They'll go like, oh, I want Gandhi and I want Jesus and Barack Obama or something like that. The problem with that is...
That's going to get heavy, isn't it?
Well, it's not just that. It's like, they're not going to talk to me. If Jesus can chat to Gandhi, he's not going to go, all right, Robbie, what we got coming out on your YouTube channel soon? Well, I mean, they might do, because they all seem quite nice guys, but you've got to work... I've been thinking about this sort of thing quite a lot, and you've got to try and make sure you're involved in the chat.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be awkward if with that sort of thing, if at the end of the night, with the dinner party thing, if like Barack Obama and Gandhi are swapping numbers and stuff like that, and everyone's just ignoring you, and you know they're going to go into a pub together and you're just left at home doing the dishwasher. So I think who I would pick, I would bring Rob McElhenney, I don't know how you say his surname, from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Rob McElhenney.
Oh, he owns Wrexham, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's it, McElhenney. Yeah, I'm not very good at saying it. I'd take him, and I would take his wife, who's also in the show, Caitlin Olsen, and I would bring my wife.
Oh, that's nice.
Because my wife and I, we've said everything we have to say. Like, we've been married for quite a long time. We get on well, but there's no new chat there. They'll be in a similar situation, so they'll be excited to talk to us because they'll be bored of each other as well, presumably. So that's my tactic to get myself in the conversation. So I'm going to bring them, but not because they're the people I'm most likely to chat to. It'd be different if it was one-on-one, but if you've got a big group, you've got to consider the dynamics, I think.
Very true. Very true. Who's driving?
Not my wife. One of them, I let them choose. They can sort it out between them. I'm not that keen on driving.
No.
Oh, it's got to be outside rush hour, isn't it? It's got to be small hours.
If it's outside rush hour, if we get up to Scotland and it's 4 a.m.
I'm afraid this journey's in full rush hour.
Yeah, if we're getting early, if they've stayed around our house and we're leaving at like 3 a.m. or something like that, I'll go, do you know what? I'll start off. I'll do the first couple of hours. I'll get you up to sort of somewhere up the A1, depending if that's the way we're going, sort of thing. I'll probably get you up at least past Lincolnshire, sort of thing, somewhere up that sort of way. And then maybe you can take over somewhere in that sort of area.
Just as you go to leave, Rob McElhenney's in your kitchen with the sieve.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob!
What are you playing at, Rob?
Oh, don't.
If you're another 3 minutes, Rob, we're going to be sharing the driving. So, yeah, I think I'd start driving at the early hours, but I want to be out of there by the time the traffic gets busy.
Makes sense.
And what would you go for? A black car or a blue car?
I'd just take my trusty Vauxhall Insignia, I think.
What colour's the Insignia? Black?
The Insignia is silver.
Okay.
When I choose a car, my criteria are it has to have enough room to fit my children in. That's the most important thing. It needs to have cruise control, because if I'm going through a average speed limit thing on the motorway, 50 miles an hour, I want to be able to just click that and not have to worry, oh God, have I been going over it for too long? Do I have to now then go a bit slower before we get to the next thing?
Yeah.
I want to be able to just set that and just chill out. And nowadays, it needs to have Apple CarPlay, stuff like that, so I can listen to music. And beyond that, I will just get the cheapest car that fits in with that, which tends to be an Insignia or any Vauxhall. I had Vauxhall Vectra before that. And the good thing about it is that no one's going to steal it. You don't have any of that worries. Like, oh, I've got this.
Just a vehicle, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, I knew someone who had Audis, and they kept getting. This was when we lived in Kent, and they kept getting stolen, because it was this dream car that he had, and it was like a 9-year-old Audi or something like that. But it was a specific Audi that he really wanted, and he got it, and it got stolen within like a few months. And he got another Audi, and that got stolen probably by the same people a little bit later because they know where to go for their Audis. But you never really need to worry about that with the Insignia. From my standard, it's quite a nice car to drive. I mentioned this to my friend Lloyd, Lloyd Griffith, the comedian, who knows a bit more about cars than me. And he said, I hired an Insignia now once, and it was great. I was going, yeah, it is. So we just take my Insignia.
I think they're like a taxi driver's car of choice, aren't they? If they're on a budget, they're nice cars.
Yeah, if they've not got a Prius.
Yeah.
Then yeah. But when I do get in a taxi and it is an Insignia, I go, oh, I got an Insignia. We'll have a little chat about Insignias. But no, it's not a very long chat because they don't know anything about Insignias. And if they bought an Insignia, they probably don't know much about cars either because they've just bought an Insignia.
Yeah.
Like the Butlins of family transport.
Yeah. Get you up there. There's a decent boot space.
Insignia is like a Tesla without electric.
It's just, we've got all these slogans. Yeah. I'm going to take my electricless Tesla to go up to the treeless Center Parcs.
With no lions.
Yeah, with no lions. So yeah, big fan of the Insignia. By a big fan, I mean completely tolerant of the Insignia.
Where'd you get your cars from, Robbie?
My last 2 cars I've bought on the internet. Because I don't know anything about cars, the thought of having to discuss cars with someone is terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it feels like when if you go to Morocco and everyone's trying to rip you off, it feels like wherever you go, it feels like that's what cars are like in my head. It might well not be the case. So my dream, and it's something that I've managed to do on both the last 2 occasions, is to go onto the internet and find a secondhand car and pay for it outright without any financy thing that's going to hurt my brain, and then have the car until the car dies, and then get a new car, repeat. And that's happened with the Vauxhall Vector, which I had for about 10 years. I went on to TescoCars.com, which no longer exists, but for a brief period of time, you could buy a car from Tesco's.
Wow.
And I found a car for just over £5,000 that was only 2 years old, a Vectra, and this would be about 2010 this would have been.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 08 plate. And I just bought that car for about £5,500 something. Some guy turned up with the car and then said, do you want to keep it? And I went, yeah. And then he just left me the keys and went away, and then I had the car. And then this time around, I did the same thing with Kazoo.
It's like a genuine sort of Tesco's home shopping experience, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they stopped working because they couldn't get enough cars. Apparently, that's the problem with.
Any substitutes today, mate? No.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't get that. Yeah, we got your Nissan Micra. So yeah, and then the Kazoo is the same sort of thing. I just literally went online and ordered the car. Apparently, the problem with all these things, because I think Kazoo's not doing very well either, is it? I think they can never get enough cars.
I think they were going to go under, weren't they? I think they were close to going into administration.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but I think that's what I read.
So that's my dream, is to sort of go, okay, that's a car. It seems to be a functional car. It's got the things I need. It's been checked by the RAC, who are someone I've heard of, who seem trustworthy. So I will send you my money and a car will turn up at my door. And then from that point on, I will own the car until it is in some way dies.
Do you have any dealings with a garage for servicing, etc.?
Yes. I used to just go to independent places because with the Insignia, it now just goes to the Vauxhall garage near us.
Okay.
Because they seem to give you free. I know it's more expensive than other places, but the first time we thought, well, we'll take it there because we've got a year's free servicing or something like that. So we thought, well, we had to take it there. And then they just gave us like free breakdown cover for a year. And then they seem to do that as well. So we just take it there now. And every time I take it there, they deflate the tyres to what it appears to be the wrong level because the car then tells me the tyres are all too flat. and I then go and reinflate the tyres, and this carries on around till the next year. So for some reason, the Vauxhall garage doesn't know what level the Vauxhall tyres should be. Because we live in the book, it says it should be higher.
Yeah.
The car tells it should be higher, but they always, for some reason, put it lower. So I don't know if it's an unexpected tyre pressure that they're not used to.
Strange.
Just a prank from the.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It gets me every time. So well played for them if it is. Yeah, respect. We should stop taking it in on April Fool's Day. That's when our MOT's up.
A relief mechanic from the circus dropped in. Just steal your tyres.
If I take my car somewhere they don't smash the windscreen, I'm happy. So you can take the tyres down, it's fine. What I've learned from this podcast is I need to get better suppliers for my car stuff because people are not helping me.
Yeah. Wonderful. I think probably a nice place to wrap it up, I think. Do you reckon, John?
Yeah.
You got more questions for Robbie?
Have you got anyone you would suggest that we might get onto this podcast that you might know?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
We don't need an A-lister.
No, I'm just trying to think who'd be quite. I'm trying to think if there's anyone who's got interest in cars or anything that I know. Or
And you don't have to be into cars either, really. We don't.
no, but not like me.
The chat goes everywhere, doesn't it? Yeah.
Have you had anyone who's been less into cars than me so far?
It's probably a toss-up between yourself and the guy called Daniel, who's a jeweler. He started the podcast very similar to you, actually. He was like, yeah, full confession, I know nothing about cars.
Yeah.
Makes jewellery, doesn't he?
Yeah. He had a number of cars with silly names.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had some good tales about that.
I'll have a think and see if I can think of anyone, and I'll drop you an email. There's a weird amount of people that I know don't drive, really.
I suppose a lot of people that are based in London don't really have a need for a car, do they? Yeah.
Yeah, or they start driving a lot later. But I always find it funny when you meet someone and they can't drive. Like, what? like oh, I can't actually read. You're a grown man, so why have you not learned? Come on.
I think famously Noel Gallagher can't drive, can he?
Oh, yeah.
He was given a brown Rolls Royce, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like in the late 90s. And he's I can't drive it. So it just sort of sits.
He used to come on Soccer AM quite a lot.
I remember, yeah.
And one day we were going, me and Tim Lovejoy presented the show and a few of the others, we were going to watch Oasis at Wembley.
Right.
We were just walking down the road towards the stadium and this car just pulled up. I don't know what car it is. The back window wound down and it was Noel. He went, "Do you need a lift, lads?" We were like, "Oh, hello." Right.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't get in. Yeah, there we go. I've brought it around to a car story for you. If I don't know what car it was.
Nice.
Always trying. I might not know much. I'm trying my best.
Great effort.
Excellent. No, thanks for joining us, Robbie. Really appreciate it.
No, it's a pleasure. And thanks for having me. And if I think of anyone as a guest, I'll let you know.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff.
Brilliant. Enjoyed that. Cheers, Andy. Cheers, John. Thanks, Ryan. Bye.
There we go.
There we go. That was quite carless, wasn't it?
He was a good laugh, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think, as we say, we're like, obviously we start off with one question and see where it takes us. And we ended up at Butlins, Center Parcs, the Circus, the hardness of water, coffee machines.
Yeah, it's quite wacky, wasn't it?
Yeah, might be slightly trickier to illustrate for our social media, perhaps. But
yeah, maybe you can knock up some sort of circus-themed poster for that episode.
The great, magnificent, wonderful.
Yeah, the great Robbie Knox.
Like he's an illusionist or a magician or something. We'll ask AI to make a poster and it'll add like 3-headed lions and an elephant. And...
Yeah, bit of plate spinning.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Yeah, I suppose a bit of a French theme with the cars that his parents owned.
Yeah, indeed. And I guess, yeah, if they were company cars, then quite often sort of businesses will stay on one track, won't they? Maybe they'll have a deal with the Citroen garage or the Renault garage or whatever and go, yeah, actually, you can have anything you want as long as it's got a Citroen badge on it.
Bit of car theft in Glasgow.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, we've had a few sort of stolen cars, haven't we? Like,
yeah,
give it another 6 months, that car will turn up in a robbery. Will it? Like someone else will mention. So that was good. Bit of Bruce Springsteen. Quite like a bit of Bruce Springsteen.
I'm glad you enjoyed my pun.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to say she was born in the USA.
Yeah,
she wasn't, but
too easy.
Yeah, it was too easy. No, it was good fun. Nice sort of. Yeah, light-hearted, not too heavy. And our podcast isn't just for car people, is it?
No.
It is for everyone. And yeah, some people will kind of get on board with the really nerdy stuff and other people will kind of just want something sort of light-hearted to listen to, which is what that was.
I mean, that was the most un-car-filled episode we've ever done, probably. So.
Yeah.
If they're expecting more of the same, they might be a bit disappointed.
Yeah, this is too car-y. Yeah, especially if that one was too car-y. Yeah, maybe it's not for you. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up. Roll the credits.
Thank you for listening to My Dad's Car. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please support us. Buy us a coffee and subscribe. And tell all your friends.